open session, call to order, pledge of allegiance, moment of silence, public service announcements. Then at 6:35, we have a public hearing regarding an amended licensure for gas tanks at 1 New Boston Road. Then we have the town administrator update, biweekly memo, gateway sign, department reports from water and sewer and DPW. Consideration and action on an application for a hawker and peddler license. Consideration and possible actions on a one-day liquor license for Greater Good at the town bonfire. Consideration and possible action on a one-day liquor license for Altruist Brewing for the town bonfire. Consideration and possible action for the board to authorize the chair to execute the contract with Ty and Bond for engineering service from Route 20 sewer replacement. Consideration and possible action to accept the donation for benches near the Veterans Honor Roll Monument. Consideration and possible action to authorize the chair to execute a contract with Ty and Bond regarding the 469A Main Street Trail and Bridge project in the amount of $233,500. Consideration and possible action to execute a contract with Ty and Bond for the Grand Trunk Trail on property number 1 and 9 in the amount of $67,700. Possible action on the appointment of Jane, is that Jane Fowler?
Jane.
Yeah, okay.
Jane.
Fowler, the Sturbridge Disabilities Commission. Old business, new business, correspondence, approval of minutes, citizens forum, and adjournment. With that, would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And I would just like to take a moment of silence, really for the events unfolding in Palestine and Israel, and just our prayers to all the innocents in that event. All right, thank you. Public service announcements. Mary Lou.
Nothing?
Mr. Chase.
I have nothing, thank you.
And I have nothing. All right, we are a couple minutes in advance of the hearing. Robin, you just want to start with your biweekly memo?
Yeah, it's very short this week. Basically, I think the most important thing is we are following up on the whole Route 20 situation. We have expressed, they have given us a schedule, sort of a schedule, and we're hoping it's followed. We do see an end in sight. We have asked them specifically to limit the closure down to one lane during the hours of like 7 to 9 and then 2:30 to 6 in the afternoon. They said they would make every effort to try to comply with limited closures as best as possible. We emphasized again how horrible this was, and people sitting in traffic, frankly, for an hour and a half in the morning on their way to work is not acceptable. Opioid updates. Our opioid staff team continues to work. We have a logo and an SOS, Sturbridge Opioid group design. I will have a copy of I think in one of your last packets, I had a sample 3-page pamphlet opened up. We're updating all the informational. We pretty much are taking a couple of tracks on this. We're taking an educational and prevention track, and then we're taking a recovery and resource track. Not that we would provide the recovery programs, but access to them and information leading people to that. But a large component on education and prevention, particularly with looking at the opioids for parents who are sort of unsuspecting because there's not a traditional image of drug use when it comes to opioids. It's got a very different, broader population that leads to a more traditional, if you will, drug use. So educating parents as well. We did have a brief meeting with Dish Antenna about the antenna they are looking to put on top of the Fisk Hill water tower. They have shown us some preliminary designs, what it's going to look like and whatnot. They do understand that while they are on the track to get this to planning sometime in December, they need to show it to the board first. So they will be, we put them on the agenda for November 20th. So I want to give you all enough advance notice, and I'll let the Marys know so that they can be here, because I know everybody's going to want to participate in that. So they're very willing to work on it. The design has a lot of shielding and covering and whatnot. They're prepared to also discuss, we talked to them about the concerns about health risks. We talked to them about the concerns about visual look and aesthetics, safety with weather, all of those things. And so we asked them to be sure that they are prepared to answer any of those questions for us before it even moves forward to planning. Understanding the planning may do some design changes.
Sure. We also should probably be looking for a policy for this type of thing, just how to analyze it in repeat manner going forward, because I suspect things like this will be.
Yeah, because we do have the other lease for T-Mobile Sprint that we have to put out to bid, and, I mean, they've already got equipment up there, but so we'll continue to keep equipment up there, but we do need to put out a lease. So I think that the question on the policy really has to be, does the board want to put something in there that before they even go to planning, the board needs to have a preliminary review of the project? And, you know, I think that's what sort of needs to be thought about, and what is the board's latitude in that, and legal latitude needs to be
Well,
reviewed.
because we're entering into a contract for that we will get, we're giving them our space and they're paying us, so that comes under our purview. So I guess mostly what I want to do is just, I don't know what you guys think, is to I just want to have like a rubric to do this every single time when someone comes to town, because otherwise it's not. I mean, maybe it has to be ad hoc. Maybe it won't come up that much. I don't know, but I don't know.
It probably won't, but it should have a process and a protocol so that one group who wants to do it gets treated the same. Or when we put it out to bid and don't know who might want, let's say, I mean, obviously T-Mobile Sprint will probably rebid their own equipment as opposed to someone paying to take it down and put new up. But if someone wants to add to that or whatever else, I do think that just a generic policy makes it where we're not treating this way we're never treating anybody differently.
Sure.
One project over another, one neighborhood over another.
Or maybe you'll conclude that it is ad hoc. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but
it's nice to at least take a look at that. So, okay, and that is it from me on the update. The only other thing in your packet that's on the update, and we'll talk about the gateway sign after, but very quickly, I just wanted to let you know the Recreation Committee did finally find a market manager, Elizabeth Adams. Okay. It's not officially a board-appointed position, but we just wanted to let you know Recreation did support it. It's a stipend position for $2,500. And he was able to run the market without it this year, but it was a heavy lift. So in January, when they start registering and getting going, this person is up and running and ready to roll.
Great.
Good. So, and I do want to thank Annie for running a very good farmer's market, and all the volunteers who continued to stick with it. There was a little bit of upheaval early in the year, and it all ended up working out. And I went by myself last Sunday, and just a great market. It really is a beautiful farmer's market.
Yeah, it definitely is. Okay, I think we can call the public hearing now. I always forget if I have to call a vote on the public hearing.
No, not to open it. The call, reading the call is the opening. We had this discussion last time. I thought you did have to open it, but you didn't.
Yeah, all right.
The call is the opening.
All right, Mary is not here, so I'll read the.
You don't have it ready?
I know.
One second.
Want me to read it, Gene?
Yeah, if you have it, I'm.
Yeah, I got it.
Thanks.
The Town of Sturbridge Board of Selectmen, in accordance with MGL-CH 148, Section 13, hereby give notice that a public hearing will be held on Monday, October 16th, 2023, at 6:35 p.m. for the application of the Town of Sturbridge for an amended license for gas tanks with flammable materials located at 1 New Boston Road Extension, Sturbridge, Mass. 01566. The public hearing will take place at the Town Hall, second floor, Veterans Memorial Hall, located at 308 Main Street, Sturbridge, Mass. 01566. Dated October 5th, 2023.
All right. So my first question is ASD, is that above ground? Does that A stand for above ground in ASD?
It's an above ground storage.
Yeah. So
yes.
That was my first. So what's going on, Heather?
So as I think you have been informed, unfortunately, our diesel tank, after over the past year, we've had multiple times we've had it tested and improvements made on it, has shown that it has failed. It's a double-walled tank. The inner tank has failed and allowed diesel to leak into the interstitial space. That tank has now been emptied, and we are proceeding with the cleanup requirements and testing requirements and what we're going to proceed forward. But in the meantime, we've had to find provisions to keep diesel on site so that we can keep the large trucks and the buses and ambulance running. So we have rented a above-ground 7,000 gallon storage tank that is sitting right next to the pump. If you're looking where it is, so it's really right in the same exact adjacent area, and been able to connect that to our dispensing unit via new pump pumping out of the tank and into the dispenser. But in accordance with the requirements, we have to have a public hearing to let the public know what we're doing. But that's the basic gist of what we're doing. We are proceeding with the requirements through Mass DEP and our LSP on site for the site cleanup, licensed site professional LSP. So
Questions from the board?
Is this just a temporary tank and we're gonna drop one in the ground once the old one's pulled out?
So at this time, yeah, the plan is that is a temporary tank. The definition of temporary is probably a little bit loose right now.
Right.
It depends on how temporary, but it is something that is only there as a temporary measure. What we will be exploring in the future is likely an above-ground storage tank so that we don't have to worry about this in the future. What was already, when we've been talking in concept of what a new DPW would look like, we were actually talking about above-ground storage tanks for both of our diesel and our gas. It's a lot easier to monitor and not have to worry about that subsurface contamination in the future.
Where would they be located?
Well, they'd still be on the DPW site at some point. We don't really have an exact location yet because we're still working on that site plan and concept for what a new DPW possibly would look like. And so we were very preliminary in that road, but I think both Robin Chavez and myself had already kind of come to that conclusion that a below ground isn't really the way to go, that above ground is really the way to go in the future. So we have some, that has kind of been accelerated at this time frame, but even just moving the tanks and putting new tanks in we're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars just even for the tank infrastructure. So we need to do some of that planning, which we had started because we had ARPA money to look at some of the subsurface concerns from this potential spill. I use that term, not liking to use that term because it was really contained in the interstitial space. Right, the breach of the inner tank.
Yeah.
So now that's kind of accelerated where we have to look at those, where we need to worry about other subsurface existing contamination if we have to do anything before we site tank. The tricky part is we're very limited in space that where we already have cleared. So anything new to keep the operation still moving, we have to be very careful about where we site things with all the buses and all the large equipment that we have moving around down there. It looks like we have a lot of space when there's nobody down there, but when that site is, 1:30 in the afternoon, it's like crazy mad town down there. So even just putting the tank where we used to run buses through is impacting the traffic flow. So we have to be very careful with what we do. So right now we're just hoping to get through winter and keep working with the licensed site professional to figure out from what we need to do for that part first before we get into any long-term siting.
Good luck.
We will be going to FinCom for this. This is not something we have normally budgeted. It's an unforeseeable, so we're getting ready to go to FinCom in a couple.
Yes. Preliminarily.
What's the cost?
Oh, so I think I looked at that spreadsheet so quickly.
Yeah.
So we're renting the tank from United Rentals. It's like $10,000 right now with the licensed site professional. There's some more work that they need to do. The monthly rental, I think, was somewhere in the range of $2,000 to $2,500 a month. So it wasn't unreasonable considering the cost of the long-term tank and then the cleanup. So really, we're trying to get through this year financially and have something going forward, looking with some different engineering options. But we're very concerned. We're not going to put them, we can't put them back right where they were if they go above ground. We need space. So it's going to take some thinking of how can we site these properly and still be able to use our space and have all our storage.
We did talk to Maya about whether or not it was covered. And we have a large deductible anyway on it.
Yeah.
But even
$10,000.
$10,000 deductible anyway. but they don't cover, they consider the age of the tank the cause, and therefore it wasn't some type of an accident.
We're looking at this tank was probably in the range of our almost 25 years old, so.
What was going to happen?
What's so the temporary measure is about 8,000 gallons. What are the tanks in the ground?
The diesel tank was 10,000 and the gas tank is 8.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Okay, does anybody from the public want to speak on this? So, all right, hearing none, do we have a motion?
Yes.
With close
You should
public
close
hearing.
the public hearing.
First, move to close it. I move to close the public hearing. Second. All those in favor? And then, do we have a motion on the merits?
I'll make a motion to approve is it the temporary tank? Yeah, to
I
approve
think
the
it's to
temporary
amend
tank.
the license.
To amend the
And the
license.
license.
Yeah. For gas tanks with flammable materials located at 1 New Boston Road Extension, Sturbridge, Mass.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? The ayes have it. Heather, you can just stay there.
Well, I think they're going to do the sign guy.
Oh, sure, if you want. I was just gonna let, I was gonna let you shake on
Don't
it.
tell the sign guy. It's your whole identity. Come on up. So while Joe is coming up, let me, I don't need to remind you all that one of the things you've charged me with was creating some type or having some type of a very notable gateway sign for the town. We sought funding from ARPA, which the board approved of, I believe, $35,000, and there's betterment money as well, and I think we've got an additional sort of pot of money for decorations and plantings and whatever around this sign. Just a couple of things you'll notice in the packet, there are two pricing. One says temporary, one says permanent. The little challenge we have is that we're putting this at 131 and 20. That is going to be in 26 redesigned by the state. So we were originally looking at a permanent stone base, and which is expensive. And if we were going to have to pull it all out in 26, it seemed like we really couldn't justify the expense of the stone base to pull it out and then have to rebuild the whole thing. So we had Joe, who has worked for our town before. You may know the Wayfarers. You did the Wayfarer signs, right, Joe? You did the Wayfarer signs, you did.
Yes.
And so we had Joe also design, he calls it a temporary, I sort of call it a movable, not so much temporary. So it has a faux stone base, it's painted. And that way, when we have to take it down for construction, we can remove it and we can put that same one back. That does have the breakaways, it complies with DOT. So you see two pricing options in there. I just want to be clear that temporary doesn't mean it's just a first round. It's temporary in the sense of movable. So with that being said, Joe has put up for you what we have so far, what he's come up with for us. Jean Boubon and I have been working. You should have a letter in your packet from Jean. Yes. She's very supportive of this project. Some people in the public might have seen Jean, Joe, myself, and the police chief all loitering on the 131 and 20 grassy area. The chief and Jean actually went onto Route 20, and you got to do that with a police car, right? And have the lights all flashing and got out and took pictures of how we anticipate this to look from a distance with some mock-ups. So, Joe, I don't know if you want to share a little bit with us, or?
I'm certified with the state through combis, and the idea behind this sign, I think we got something really unique. Interesting story how this design came into being, but the idea is to make this thing last 50 to 100 years. So all the materials and idea. Here we go.
the picture in the packet with the plywood, that was the day we were out there milling around on the thing. That gives you a sense of the view, the size and the scale of it. So that was to scale, and then we measured out exactly the angle that we liked. It will be predominantly visible heading west on 20, since the vast majority of our tourism traffic comes from the highways, from 90 and 84. The back will be like a flat black.
Yep.
And then this is where the extra money for the plantings we can do behind it to decorate a little bit behind it.
Questions from the board?
I think it looks really good. I like it.
This is the first edition. We've made some edits,
Okay.
more detail, but that's not done yet. I mean, it's done, but I don't have it.
He's still tweaking this a little bit. You'll notice it has the New England Crossroads
Yeah.
on it. The materials, what is it? Is it a cast, the welcome, what is that made of?
Aluminum,
It's a
Everything.
cast aluminum.
Cast aluminum.
welded.
No, it's looking good. The only question I have, and I don't know how I feel about it, honestly, is just about the orange. Because but that's an aesthetic. Is there a reason behind that?
Behind what?
The color, the burnt orange.
Oh, warm.
Yeah.
Warm
Just to
color.
give it, so to bring it.
Welcome.
Welcome. It's a warm tone. It sort of picks up, it's kind of a traditional fall, Native American. I think we wanted to sort of follow the history of the Native American culture in town, and I think we always sort of think of those fall warm colors with that. And I don't think, in some of the things, it doesn't look quite as orange. It's got a burnt.
Well, the actual pigment is a little different than what you get, printed.
Yeah, because the
This is
paper.
like
Yeah.
third generation.
Yeah. But that was the thought behind it. We felt it sort of had that fall New England.
I really like it. I like the design.
Yeah, I mean, those are my only thoughts. I mean, I understand the part about moving it. That's just sort of how it goes. The only thing I would say is that on that one color myself, and I don't know, I'm just speaking for Jamie here now. Just that it's not too like.
It won't be like that.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. Because it can get a little like, but so if it's more, I don't know what the right word is.
Subtle?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, this gives you some perspective.
Sure.
That's the actual side.
Great. Yeah, no, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That does make sense. And I'm sure the iron would be good. Well, that's great. Are you looking for anything from us specifically? Or?
Yes, so the support to move forward with this design. I did show it unofficially to the Marys when they were
Okay.
here last Monday, because I felt kind of unfair not having them see it. They both appeared, Mary Mary Blanchard, I don't think, came into my office. Mary Dowling did come in, and so Mary did say that she liked this. Okay. So.
Yeah. No, I think it all makes
It was
sense.
I couldn't back it up until they were here, because we need to get this moving. We may be
Yeah.
able to have this, we might actually be able to start this fall.
I've talked to everyone on the team about the idea that you might want it for the holidays. So, and
This
everyone's
could be
on
very
board
soon.
with that idea.
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. Any other?
By the holidays, I mean Christmas.
Those holidays. Not Halloween, yeah, not Halloween. We're just talking about Halloween. That's why the orange is black.
That's why
That's
the
why
orange,
the
right? Well,
Can I just?
of course.
One, that island that you're kind of going that is in that general area.
Okay.
We just would like to make sure that it's not.
We'll call you for dig safe.
Yeah, well, we can't put it over there because we have to
Yep.
take that line out. That's
If we have to move it
Well, yeah.
a couple feet forward or back.
But really, that inspection should happen.
Yeah, that would all happen
Across the
anyway.
line anyways,
Yeah.
just to make sure we're not
Yep.
no water,
impacting any.
no nothing.
Yeah.
No water, I think the sewer's further down, I think it'll be okay, we'll double check.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So knowing exactly where it is.
Yep.
before we-
Okay, do you want to vote on it, or do you need?
I think a vote would be good, since you guys have all been so behind this. I think it would be.
I'll make a motion to move forward with the Sturbridge Gateway sign project.
Second that.
All those in favor? All right, the ayes have it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It looks
Thank
great.
you,
Thank you for
Joe.
your work.
We'll be in touch with Jean.
I really like it.
Do you need anything else from me in the short term?
Yes.
Do you need anything else from me in the short term before? You can keep rolling then. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have you next.
All
meeting.
right, so we are next on to, we are in water and sewer.
Yeah, let's leave that.
Hey Shane, how you doing? Same old malarkey, brother. Thanks, Joe.
You have the operation reports for both August and September. Pretty much going to see the same stuff. The last time I was here, we were having CBOD issues at the plant. We were violating in July and August. We didn't have any violations in September. I haven't seen the official report from our technical group yet, but I think when we take that much septage, we're going to have to run 3 tanks during the summer. And I think once we do that, we won't have these issues anymore. I need to see that final report. So the good news is we're not violating, and we think we know why we were violating. The only struggle we're going to have is we're going to have to take tanks offline to recode them. So you have to recode them when it's over 55 degrees. So it'll be a balancing act, septage versus how many tanks are online. But we can control that, and we're working on it. So the good news is I'm 90% sure we know what was causing the problem. We're not violating anymore. So that's good. We've been flushing and winterizing hydrants. Will be done by the end of the week, so everything will be flushed. The winterizing of the hydrants will probably be finished by the end of next week. Heather and I had a conference call with Fish and Wildlife, Mass Fish and Wildlife, and Mass DOP about the well 4 stream monitoring that we've been doing for the last 3 years. Our goal, at least my goal, and I think Heather's too, was to get rid of the stream limit altogether. We didn't achieve that. We do get to run the plant more often when we start getting in drought conditions, but then when we hit, I forget if it's stage 3 or stage 4, we can't run the well at all. So it's a win for us. It's not exactly what we wanted, and we could have just kept going back and forth. We don't have to do any more monitoring. We're already $50,000 in, right? So, and we have the other 3 wells. So I think we made out pretty good. I think both Heather and I were pretty happy with the way it turned out. So that's good. The water bills went out, so people should be receiving those. And, tonight's not the night to bring up the E1 stuff, but Heather and I are working on a list of projects. We met with the engineer to come up with, that's what you asked us to do, to come up with what was coming down the line. So we met with them just last week. So hopefully in the upcoming months, we'll be able to put some numbers on all the projects that we see coming up in the near future. And that way you guys can make a better decision on what you want to do with the E1 pumps. Besides that, that's all I have. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Question?
I have nothing. Everything's going good right now.
Yeah.
Are the wells just as full as ever?
Chock full.
Yeah.
Plenty of water.
Plenty of water. That's not a problem.
Yeah, it's a good
Last
place
year
to
we were
be.
putting out wildfires, half the state was burning. Today, this year, we're underwater.
Yeah, no, I've never seen the water table this high. So, yeah, we've got plenty of water. That's not a problem.
That's good. All right, I have nothing further unless you guys.
I have nothing.
Thanks, Shane.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate you.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Shane.
The only thing else I have to add, I'm going to start with my water and go on from there. How about that? So in addition to water bills going out, we actually identified a list of some very low flow meters that we're going to send. We sent letters out to residents asking them to call the water department so we can get in and inspect their meter. These are meters that over a 90-day period or over the last couple water bill cycles, they haven't been reading at all or been reading very, very low. So we're suspecting that there might be some issue there. So we've asked them to contact us so that we can go in there. So if somebody does get a letter from us, it is real. We're asking so that we could get in there to check their meters.
When people sell a house or anything like that, do we look at their meters?
So we don't physically look at their meters. We're able to read them externally most of the time because we have the remote meter reading software. So we use our handheld Crumble device to do a reading. They program in the number. It's just like when they read the meters.
So you can basically do it remotely, and within a certain percentage of error, you know that it's close enough to where it ought to be?
Right.
Okay.
So they ask us to read it on a certain day. We go out and read it on that day, and people have their closing usually within 1 or 2 days, and they know that the usage is right. And there are times when people don't, when they sell a house without a water meter reading, and we go through the sales list and we update people's names that way too, but then they're responsible. If you don't have us come read your meter, then you're responsible for any of as soon as it sells, you're responsible for that previous usage.
Better not have a leak in the sprinkler line.
That's right. You don't want those. In addition to that, I know there is one contract? No, that's in my, so there's one contract on for Route 20 sewer lining for Ty and Bond to do the engineering for that. You remember last year, we found a section that was in tremendously bad repair. Well, the rest of the line is not that great, so we want to go ahead and line the rest of the line, so we need to get that out to bid, and hopefully we will be able to go out to bid and do that work early in the spring and get that.
Yeah, I recalled that. I did have a question, though. So when you do that work, because when I read the report from Ty and Bond, so you go to the pump station right near Yankee, is that where it goes in?
Yep.
Okay. And
that's
then
where we're going to, yep.
Going to?
Yep.
And where does it start? So where do you run the line from, I guess, is what I'm asking.
So they go manhole to manhole.
Okay.
So we did the manhole that was the most critical one that basically crossed both lines, both at the intersection of 131 and crossed right there in 20. That was the section that we did last year. Gotcha. This time we are going upstream from that manhole to New Boston Road. Okay. So there'll be one section there from the manholes in New Boston Road down, and then where we did, and then from the manhole that we ended on to the one on Route 20 into the pump station. Okay. So it's a much bigger project. We did one segment. Gotcha. We're doing, did know at one time, I think there's 8 or 9 manholes in that whole area. So it's segment. So basically what you're doing is you're running the line, you're stringing the line down by each manhole, and correct. Then by to get to the end, you seal it. Right. So it stops at the manholes. We're actually going to put in the bid also to coat the manholes, okay. Which is something we didn't do last time, but it actually is protection on the manhole. So one of the things, and Dane would have been able to talk to this, it's when you have a pump system like we do with E1 pumps, we take waste from around Cedar Lake into this line. Yeah, so you build up hydrogen sulfide because it's been sitting in that line for such a long time, which means your waste is even more corrosive than just normal sewage. It's highly corrosive, so it's eating away at all the concrete. Hydrogen sulfide loves to eat concrete. It's eating away at the concrete. It's because you're taking it off lake water effectively. So well, you're taking it off of that pump system. So whenever you have a pump system, what you have, it goes from being an aerated waste to a waste that had like sat in your septic tank, and it goes septic, which causes more hydrogen sulfide. Yeah, because there's no air release for it. Correct. Basically, so it just all gets heat. Just all gets, and then it gets released at the manhole and goes into gravity, and that's when all the sulfide. Why does the concrete? And this is now I'm going down the whole road, but why does the concrete have? Now Mary Dowling's not here. I'm going to ask questions. I love Mary. Don't get too technical on it. A lot of times since I did my chemistry and chemistry, I feel like I'm in this bad country. I used to know the answers to these questions, but. And just to be clear, I love Mary. But why does but it's asbestos in the concrete. Why would that be? Is that to deal with the heat from the drink? So, asbestos concrete pipe is just more, ends up corroding much quicker anyways. Yeah. The concept of using asbestos in pipe was something they thought they were getting this really great product, and really, as it turns out, it's not the be-all, end-all that they thought it was going to be. It didn't work out. So it didn't really work out how they expected. So they thought they were doing something to make the concrete stronger and less and more resistant, and it really didn't work out that way in the long run. So it's one of those things that, in hindsight's 2020, nobody would have used asbestos anyway, right? But at the time, they were using it in everything, and it was the best product around. We had it everywhere. Now we know better, right? So. Okay, that was all. I was just curious. So you have that contract coming up. Another water and sewer. I'm just going to go through my little list, and then we'll go back to you guys. And that was. So we have another water and sewer project out to bid right now. That is the painting and repair of clarifier number. I know the number. I think it's 1. We've had one of the clarifiers offline. He alluded to that. It needs to be recoated. It had a failed baffle wall, which is one of the reasons the other ones don't have this. It buckled at one point, so we need to have that structural steel beefed up, and then they'll probably come back in the spring, actually early spring, and paint it. At this point, it's too late. But this would give us the ability, if we beef up that wall before winter, if we need to turn it on, we have the ability, even if we had to clean it. And then we'll have the specifications ready to go to the other tanks that also needed to be coated. This is periodic, regular maintenance, but it's something that we're at to the point now that we need to do at the wastewater treatment plant. So you'll see that as an ongoing capital cost to treat all of our, one or two at a time. So that was that. What else have I been doing? So our MS4 permit, year 5, has just been submitted. It goes from June to July, but you don't have to submit it until August, end of August. Or actually, end of September, I guess it is. I'm like, when did I do submit that? It's in the middle of September.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
So that was just submitted. And it will be, you'll be able to see it eventually on the EPA's website. I can put some of the information, actually the information go up on our website too. We're going to bolster our stormwater website a little bit more to try to get the information out there. And I would encourage people to go there and look at some of the information. Now with it being time in the fall, we are actually supposed to by permit within the MS4 area. Now the whole town is not what is considered an MS4 area. It's basically south of the Pike, between the Pike and Route 20, and certain areas near around 131. So if you think of where the most populated parts of the town are, that is what's considered our MS4 area. We will be sweeping. We actually were out sweeping today up on Fisk Hill area, and we'll be continuing to sweep in the MS4 area. We're required by permit to have additional enhanced sweeping activities, not just once a year. So once a year, we will, in the spring, sweep all of our paved roads, non-state paved roads, and town accepted roads. And then in the fall, we'll be sweeping the MS4 areas to be in compliance with our permit, something we haven't been doing in the past. In addition, we will be enhancing also our catch basin cleaning, so you'll probably see our catch basin truck out again for as long as it will last. We know that the catch basin truck is one of the trucks that we're replacing with capital money, but of course, those trucks, we'll be lucky if we see it in the next 6 months. So maybe next spring we'll have our new catch basin truck, which would be lovely, but we'll be going out and making the old one last as long as we can and cleaning as many more catch basins as we can this fall, which is a little bit of enhanced stormwater that we're doing. And the reason we're doing that is in this area, the rivers and the lakes indicate they have higher sedimentation and higher turbidities. So because of that, they ask us to sweep more frequently to try to combat that, to clean up the rivers and lakes and the turbidity level. So there's a direct correlation of why we have to do it, so just so people understand. In addition, people will be cleaning up their lawns and raking their leaves. I ask people to really be considerate of not putting them into the drainage ditches. It does two things. It actually increases the pollution of your lakes and your rivers and your stream by increasing the phosphorus, and it's really not very healthy for your lake ecosystem, and it clogs the drains and causes flooding concerns. So don't put them in the drainage ditches. That's not where they belong. Composting is a really good method of treating your leaves, and if you can't do them on your own property, you can bring the leaves down to the landfill. There is an area for compost for leaves down there to be composted. So there are options for people, so please be aware of that. What else? I do want to just go a little bit more on winter and private roads. So I'm going to say, help us help you. If you live on a private road, please trim your bushes and your limbs back 8 feet in the air, break 2 feet off the pavement. We are really having difficult times getting down some of these roads now with our big plows, and we have to get down there with the big plows if we're going to salt and treat the roads. So if you trim them back, we'll be able to service you quicker and service everyone quicker and not damage our equipment, because that's some of the things that happens. Mirrors get ripped off, things of that nature, or we just can't get down the road at all. So by trimming those bushes back in the fall, it's going to allow us to get down the road much more effectively and efficiently. So
You send out letters to the residents on
I
those roads?
don't, because that's a lot of residents. So I will do a posting, and we'll do a posting on Facebook and ask people to do it. But I'm not sure if historically in the past, I know not in the like last 4 years, that hasn't been done. A big mailing like that would be probably pretty costly also. But
what about
Facebook would
the
be
Slack groups? They might
We could
reach out.
maybe reach out to Slack and ask them to post it.
Yeah, because they might.
And put it, like, just putting it out on the website and Facebook. Facebook reaches a lot of people nowadays too, so hopefully maybe they'll see it. But just doing that for us would really improve our efficiency, and we really don't want to damage the equipment, and we want to get around as quickly as possible, and make sure that we do a good job plowing, but can't plow very close to the edge if the branches are hitting the truck going down the road, so.
All right.
What's that? The FY '24 paving bids did come in, and we actually did very competitively well. We were very pleased. It's about $400,000 less than what we had estimated, which is great, which means we can do more roads, we can put more out to bid in the spring and do more, so.
Competitive, a lot of, what, six or seven?
Six
Six, I think.
bids, so yeah. And we had 2 other bids that were below what we had estimated. We were right there in the middle, which is good, where we want to be. But yes, it was very competitive, and people were looking for it. We're still working with them. They were hopeful that maybe they could do some roads this fall. Temperatures are starting to dip really quickly, but you never know. I know we've had rebounds,
Yeah, the
so
summer could happen.
we don't have anything scheduled yet, but they were still hopeful that they would be able to do that. And Fisk Hill parking lot, I talked about the other bid that was coming in Thursday. Fisk Hill parking lot for the Trails Committee was also out to bid, and those bids are also due on Thursday, so hopefully we'll get prices in for them. That is a project that can be done late fall into the winter, which is great. Somebody might have a nice little couple-week project for them to clear and get that all settled, so you should be seeing that coming into your next
Great.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
And I think that's basically what I have. The other thing that this week I'm working with Annie on the fencing at Turner's Field to get that out to bid. And I have another asphalt patching, smaller patches, road patches, curbing that will be going out to bid, and we're helping with the tree warden on getting a package out for tree removal bids for prices for that. So we're still busy putting bids together, which is a little time consuming at times. So making sure we have it all. So
There's a lot
you
going
should-
on, actually.
Yeah, there's still a lot going on. In addition, I will say that the DPW, talking about snow. So in addition, snow contractor packages are out there. So if anybody is interested in plowing for the town who has a truck themselves, that package is out on the town website. And if you're interested in being a hired driver for the town, those applications are also available on the town website. If you have any problems, you can call the DPW. April is willing to send the package out via email, but it's all available too. So we are looking for contractors. We have some of our existing contractors coming back, but now is the time we're looking for our snowplow contractors and hired drivers. So anybody interested, feel free to contact the DPW. So, start. In addition, DPW still has 3 positions open. So one of them is posted on the website. The other 2, we will be putting job postings up. But it's going to probably be that we're going to have to start looking based on not what the position is, but what people have for licenses and have for experience, and hire based on that in our levels, whether they're entry level or have some experience as a licensed operator and has the degrees. So we have some flexibility there. If they have the right licenses, then great, we can hire them as a heavy equipment operator. But we have certain requirements that they need CDLs, so CDL drivers and people with hydraulics licenses. We definitely have positions open. and looking for them. In addition, we do have a position for an assistant mechanic, anybody who has mechanic experience for big trucks, and we have that position is open and posted. Okay, but we really are in need because we're very shorthanded. As far as, I know you had 2 months of reports. Anybody have any questions? I think, as you can see, we're kind of going around. It's been one of those summers, I've never seen it rain this much. We seem like every week we're fixing some type of drainage problem. We are still fixing a drainage problem. We're trying to actually combat a problem up on Acorn that has existed since it was constructed with some ice. So that's what we've been working on this week, which isn't really in this report. But you can see it's been lots of private road drainage, lots of fixing potholes, lots of fixing just regular drainage problems.
Trimming greenery that wouldn't stop growing.
We're still out constantly doing roadside mowing. We've had issues with our mowers this year going down, but we've also just had growth
much
that's
growth.
that's just out of control. So
Thank you for doing Allen Road finally.
we're trying to get everywhere. It is good. We are trying to get everywhere. You know, if you think
Faster
you've
than
been
you can
missed,
get there.
feel free to call us and we'll make sure we get somebody out there, but
It'll
we
die
are-
soon anyway.
We are
so.
still out there trimming, so.
That's great. I don't have anything else.
I have 2 quick questions. The first, the parking lot over across from.
Yep,
it,
501 Main Street.
Is that going to get paved this fall?
Hopefully, if we get our DOT permit for our,
Is that what's holding it up?
yeah,
They're going to install granite curbing and then
Yeah.
they're going to pave, so it's probably not going to be this.
so we're still somewhat hopeful. We're still within a window depending on temperature, and he's been really good. I know that they just cashed the check.
Well, that's good.
Yep, so we're moving
Yeah.
forward. So I sent a little message on my system and they did cash it, so I'm hopeful that they can move it along relatively quickly now, because there really shouldn't be anything. Moving things through Mass DOT has been very interesting of late. Things that I can't even understand why it takes them more than 10 minutes to look at is going to take them months. It's a very interesting process. They've automated their process so that it's very 25%,
Yeah.
50%, like there's all these review steps. And just to get into the queue of the review is weeks.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah. And you mentioned sweeping. Did we get our new sweeper?
No, that's also on order, yes.
So.
You know, the only thing we were lucky enough in July to get right away, because we were able to buy it basically off the lot, was the loader. Landfill. Everything else we're still waiting on. I can't even put in an order for a Florida Explorer. They won't even let me take it into the system. So we've been talking internally, and again, it's putting a bid together, because if I order off the state bid list, I have to go through certain channels. And the reason why I say a Ford Explorer is it's the only vehicle that has any weight that's 4-wheel drive that is also meets the Green Communities requirement. So it's like one model that I can buy. So, you know, I can't get a Chevy Tahoe because it doesn't meet Green. So there's like a lot of moving parts, but is actually putting a bid together and going out to the local field Ford dealers and saying, do you have one of these that we can buy?
No further questions from me. Thank you, Heather.
No, I don't have anything. I think we can, what else do you have on here? You have,
Oh,
the item D.
Yeah.
I feel like half of the agenda's mine, right?
I don't think we're gonna have questions on F and G. But
Yeah, those are the 2 trail ones.
Those are the two trails. Those are
right.
just execution, that's all.
Yep, those went out to multiple engineering firms. We had 2 submittals on both of them. 3 of us reviewed all because they were basically technical applications and then hourly separate. And although all the engineering firms were very qualified and had great proposals, when we looked at it for the cost and what it was, Pine Bond was cheaper on both of them. So, you know, if everybody was qualified and had good, why wouldn't we just go with the cheapest?
Yep, makes sense. And then I think you pretty well discussed the,
What D is that Yeah, engineering for Route 20, lining in the manholes project.
Do you guys have any questions for any of those?
No.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to, authorize the chair to execute the contract with Ty and Bond for engineering services on Route 20 for sewer replacement in the amount of $58,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. I'm going to make a motion to authorize the chair to execute a contract with Ty and Bond for 469A Main Street Trail and Bridge Project in the amount of $233,500. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. I'm going to make a motion to authorize the chair to execute a contract with Ty and Bond for the Grand Trunk Trail continuation over property number 1 and number 9 on River Road in the amount of $67,700. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thanks,
Thank you,
Heather.
Heather.
Have a great night.
Heather.
Okay. All right, then we're on to action item A, consideration and possible action on an application for a hawker and peddler license for Amat Hussein Karam, how do I say the last name? What, how is it? Karam Shari. Yeah, you know what I'm up. For Trinity Solar.
So Trinity Solar had come in last year and had a license to go door to door. And I think the only restrictions the board put on were dawn to dusk, and at the time, I think wearing a mask going to people's doors was in that restriction because we were still sort of the tail end of COVID. That license expired the end of September, I believe, so they came back to us to reapply.
Okay. Sure. Is the hour restrictions on this one?
I think we had dawn to dusk originally. We left it sort of open based on some, like,
Just 7?
could we do 7 to 7? Or-
Yeah, I thought 7.
Was it 7?
Out my head.
Yeah, it was
Dawn to
something like, I
7?
don't think it was, because it wouldn't really, dusk would be a little.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe it was
This time
dawn
of
to
year, that's-
7.
It's 4:30.
Yeah.
I know dawn was in there, so you can't go before the sunrise.
Yeah, definitely not. It makes sense.
Yeah, no, so our operation usually starts from, like, right now, it's at 1:30 to 7:30, but over the years, since it gets darker quicker, we actually leave the field earlier. They don't want us to knock in the dark. I wish, I didn't know this was like this. We have lanyards that have actually lights around them, so when we walk on doors that have lights all over our neck, we look like Christmas trees.
That's a good idea.
So it's not
idea,
this
though.
coming up.
Definitely not robbing
yeah.
anybody wearing that.
And then we walk around with our flashlights, our phone is out 24/7, so they have the front light for us to see our face and the back light to see our feet. We usually step back from the doors at night especially, so we are really careful at night because a lot of towns are not cities. They're towns, a lot of people are not used to getting knocked at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Who's at my door?
Right.
So we try to, like, work with everybody. Me personally, I try not to knock at night. I call it burning doors because you just leave a bad thing. That's all. 7 o'clock, you're coming home, you want to sleep. You want to watch the TV. You don't want to knock
Family
out.
time.
So I just try to look at myself as, like, what if I'm in that situation?
So, I mean, what do you want to do?
I think 7's fair. I'd probably not because we're not in a big upswing of COVID, I'd remove the mask just because when someone comes to my door, I'd like to see the face. So
Yeah, I think that's fine.
and
Although I
now
have
it's-
one with you just in case. someone's
Sure.
gotta come.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
We do keep our 6 feet.
Yeah.
If the homeowners are not feeling comfortable with it, we definitely respect them. We work with integrity. That's our company motto, and we try the best to keep them comfortable,
Of course. Yeah.
and it's their property.
And we didn't have any issues last year with any of this.
We got no complaints in, no?
All right, great. Well, I will make a motion to approve the application for a hawker and peddler license for Ahmed Hussein
Karam Shahi.
Karam Shahi, I'm
Yes,
sorry,
you got
for
it.
Trinity Solar from dawn to 7 p.m.
Appreciate that.
Second.
Thank you.
I'll second. Either or.
We both second.
Calm down. They're just very excited about the solar projects.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a great night, my friend.
Good luck.
If you want to wait, stick around, I'll have them sign it right now since
I
you're
mean,
here.
yeah, you can wait and actually walk away with it.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah, say customer service at its best.
I can do it tomorrow.
You don't even have to worry about it, see that? Okay.
Okay. And while they're signing,
He's gonna stop pitching it now.
All right, so I'm going to.
That's after 7.
All right, I'm going,
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you.
okay, moving on to actions item B and C, which is consideration of possible action on an application for a one-day liquor license from Greater Good Company, JT Ethier, from the town, for the town bonfire on the town common for Saturday, October 28th, 2023, from 4 PM to 9 PM. We've had no issues with
No.
Greater Good, right? So I make a, so moved. Do I have a second?
Yep.
Yeah, did a second, Chase?
Second,
Yeah,
yep.
all those in favor? Great. Same thing for our friends at Altruis. I'm going to move to approve their application for a one-day liquor license for Altruis Brewing Company, Shelby Fay, for the town bonfire on the town common for Saturday, October 28th, 2023, from 5 PM to 9 PM. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. I'm going to make a motion to accept the donation for benches near Veterans Hall. Strike that. Benches near Veterans Honor Roll Monument in the amount of $719.12. Do I have a second?
Second that.
And all those in favor? And thank you for the, Mr. Breer, as always.
Wonderful.
He's a wealth of information.
What a wonderful
too.
man. I love talking to him.
Yeah, talking about spot zoning sometimes, see what he said.
Oh,
So
he's great.
Yeah,
What a
he's I know,
character.
he's wonderful. All right, so I'm also gonna, so Miss Bowler,
Yep, so Ms. Bauer works for Seven Hills, which does a lot of work with families in need. She is willing to join our Disabilities Commission. I need to have so many people who have disabilities or who have family members with disabilities. She has family members with disabilities, and she works in the industry, so I highly recommend board approval for that.
that's great. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. Mary Lou, any old business?
No,
Chase?
I have no old, thank you.
I have no old either. New business, either of you?
No.
All right. No new
Just
myself.
a reminder, trick or treating on Halloween to everybody. Bring your
that's
kids.
right.
Oh, that's right, good
Yep.
point. All right, then we're 2 minutes.
Oh.
So which minutes do we have here? Because we got some additional ones, right?
Yeah, so Michelle had a bunch that she
Oh,
put
yeah.
together for you.
Yeah, I came in this weekend, so you guys have, do you need them, Jamie?
What's that?
Do you have them? Okay.
I have them, I'm just trying to make sure I understand which ones I have to look at.
Yeah, she did a couple old ones, right?
Sorry, I'm
Two,
trying.
in April
it's
and in
okay.
August,
Try to get them out
and then
there.
November of '22, so they're sort of all over the place. 423s and 122.
Okay, I'm looking at September 5th, well, yeah, I'm gonna, well, I should do this in order, where's the, I'm looking at October 10th, 2023. Does anybody have any comments?
No.
That was last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the October 23 minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 10th, 2023.
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. September 5th, 2023.
Okay, on September 5th, on the second page where it says the Mary White Memorial, it just says, "On the Common, there will be a," and then there's nothing after it.
Yeah, it should say birdhouse.
Birdhouse.
Oh, okay.
Birdhouse, sorry.
The birdhouse.
I don't really see anything else other than that was a
No, I
good
don't
catch.
either. Do we have a motion for September 5th?
Go ahead,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of September 5th, 2023.
second.
All those in favor? We cannot approve the November 21st minutes. because I was the only one there.
We not approved this, we're approved
21.
21st? Okay.
21st, 2022. On to the April 3rd, 2023. Can't approve this either. Well, I guess we,
No, we can.
yeah, we
got
can
me
get
and
2
you,
of
right?
3. Yeah, you just can't vote, Mary. Even baby must be getting big.
Yeah, it's good. It's a prime time right now.
Time flies.
Would you like a motion, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve the April 3rd, 2023 minutes.
I second. And 1 abstention. All right, and then we are on to April 21st, 2023.
August.
August, excuse me. I have no comments. I don't see anything. I move to approve the August 21st, 2023 minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 23rd, 2023 minutes.
All right, I will second. All those in favor? All right, great. All right, with that, do we, anybody from the public? I don't see anybody. Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Guys have it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.